People who were asked, "Sell me this pen" during a job interview, how did you answer? Not me, but a former sales manager was a douchebag who prided himself on being the greatest and the only one who knew everything about sales and tech. He didn't, hence the word former. He was trying to find a new salesperson but rejected nearly every resume I put in front of him for nitpicky bullshit until one day he announced that he'd found the perfect candidate and was bringing him in for a formal interview, but he was pretty sure he was going to hire him on the spot. He kept going on and on about how this guy was perfect and why couldn't we find him someone like this and blah blah blah. Whatever, fine, just get it done. He bought the guy in, sat him down and said, "Sell me this pen." The guy picked up the pen, handed it back and said, "I don't play pen games." Then he walked out and we never heard or saw him again. You wanna see a magic trick? Would you really hire somebody who charges you 50 quid for a pen that was already yours to begin with? 50 quid. Alright, 30 for you. Deal? I did this once. I didn't take it seriously at all, since it was for selling advertising on the 8th-ranked country station in a small liberal town. Instead of selling the guy a pen, I got him interested in buying a pontoon boat, as he mentioned having a base boat earlier in the interview. He was like, "Sell me this pen," and I said, "Why? Are you in the market for a pen right now? Is that a problem you're having a hard time solving yourself?" And then we started talking about free time and hobbies. It totally worked, and I don't know how, and I also didn't care because that job sucked. But sir, I applied to be a janitor. I asked, "May I see it?" I then put it in my pocket. He asked for the pen back and I tried to charge him 10 for it. I didn't get the job or get to keep the pen. This pen has the antidote. During an interview for an electronic sales job, the interviewer asked me to take home a fairly expensive floor model of Blu-ray player and come back the next day with a sales pitch. It was very strange to put trust in me as he had just met me in the interview 5 minutes ago. I came back the next day with a bunch of product knowledge and landed the job. Worked there for several years and oftentimes the boss would send us home with cool new electronics to try out, sometimes even keep. It was a rewarding place to work and also a great way to get product-experienced sales staff. Ran out of business by Best Buy unfortunately. Stood up and fucked off out of there. It was a job for truck driving. What a cunt. Edit. Thank you for the silver award, kind stranger. My first award, I am indeed honored. I don't have to, you already bought it. I got the job. Easy, tell the interviewer you cannot because your sale method is not selling a customer something they do not need, but match the right customer to the right product at the right time. I heard it being asked at a group interview by the new lady from HR. I shot her a WTF look. She asked a different question instead. I sacrificed my dignity in attempt to fool someone into buying something they didn't need. I sold a guy a truck. About a week later he interviewed me for a job, didn't know it would be the same guy. He asked me the pen question, paused and said we did that last week and moved on. I would tell them that I had already created a website to purchase pens called Pen Island, and would encourage them to visit penisland.com. Disassemble the pen and give them one part for free, and offer the rest in a series of microtransactions. Be more creative with your interview questions. Not quite the same, but I was filling out an application for a job once when the owner came back where I was and said, "If you can name the song on the radio right now, you can have the job." I was able to name it and started at 5 that night. I was once at a job fair where this wasn't even attached to an interview, it was more like an open mic night kind of thing. I skipped it. Edit. On another job, a customer told me that my describing my dislike of upselling was a bonding experience with the customer, who doesn't want to be upsold, and thus a really slick sales tactic. He didn't seem mad. So, either sales is really 12th dimensional Zen chess and I accidentally made a good play, or he was just messing with me. I don't know. You're not my market. I can get more elsewhere. I'll keep it for now, thanks. As an engineer, I've never had this question asked of me. That's because engineers aren't good with people, so you have a people person like Tom Smykowski to sell the pen. Pull off my shirt to reveal the Staples uniform underneath. You mean sell it to you again? I took it home with me. Later, when the interviewer phoned me and asked for it back, I said 50 and it's yours. I asked them why. You already bought it. They told me I had to prove my salesmanship skills. So I said why? You already paid for it. Clearly the product speaks for itself. Just like our product does. I got the job. But it turns out I was actually interviewing to be a janitor and they got me confused with someone else. I said, what do you need a pen for? Best sales strategy is to ask questions before you make your approach. I failed TBH, but I was taken from a fast food joint and then thrown into sales. I leave. I'm in sales, and anybody that thinks this question has any value past 1995 isn't someone worth working for. You want this pen? Well, you can have it, for the simple act of hiring me. I held it up like a dagger and told him I was going to stab him through the eye with it if he didn't buy it in the next 10 seconds. I did not get the job, but I got $417 and a nice watch for the pen. I made it emotional. Through some internet research, corporate people put everything on LinkedIn. I learned that his high school-age daughter was really into horses. I asked him to picture himself writing a check with this pen for a perfect saddle for his daughter while she looked on in admiration, and think of all the hard work and sacrifice they had both made to make that happen. And told him that now whenever he looked at that pen he would remember that feeling. Was told later that the only part of that whole conversation that mattered was I did my research beforehand and was able to use it on the fly. Turns out his daughter is a spoiled brat and he could care less about another saddle. Sorry, this is not my pen. Selling it would be a crime under local law. Boast that you can sell it to a deaf man. When they ask how, just bellow, do you want to buy a pen? At the top of your voice. Sorry, is this a pen company? I'm in the wrong interview. Sign this piece of papers. Tell them the pen sucks because it's probably some big piece of crap, and offer to sell my Uniball Jetstream, which is the best lower price pen on the market. What's my commission? 0? Fuck you, sell it yourself. I pulled up my chinos and placed the pen in between my cheeks, then twerked. So you entrust me to sell you this pen? Yes. Do you want this pen for $5? No. Backslash puts pen in pocket and walks out. Backslash. Buy this pen or I'll stab you with it. Literally quit the interview. The first reason being, that I did apply for a position, which should not have a lot to do with sales, and they kept pushing this "how would you sell people" stuff since the beginning of the interview. So not what I was looking for. Second reason, I assume you are not qualified to hold interviews, if you only copy-paste standard stuff, that is outdated already and pretty much a meme. I also assume it won't be different working for a company like this. Just random stuff they found on Employee Management for Dummies and only adopted, because it's written in a book. Not a thought if it fits for their employees or company, but Professor Drive, very important businessman, said it, so it must be the only way to manage a company. Take the pen and package it with thousands of other pens. Sell the package as a security to a pen broker. No, but I was asked what were your grades like in high school. Pulled a Turk and said my girlfriend wasn't the only one with 6.4 in high school. I'm not gonna sell you this pen. I'm going to give it to you and sell you the paper. Don't sell an object, sell a subscription. Not me, but I met my husband in line at the bank. He was behind me and said, "Ma'am, do you have a pen I might borrow for a minute?" I turned to tell him there are pens at the kiosks. I had to look up to make eye contact. He smiled. Then I just handed him my pen. He still has it. I would do a stock market chant while beating my chest, then stand up, yell, "I'm not fucking leaving." Tootsie? Me, there is no pen. Do you believe in fate, Neo? \1 I'm not interviewing to be a salesman. Asking me to sell you a pen would be a total waste of my skills and talents. \2 If you are in the habit of buying things which you already own, I'm afraid to know what other poor business decisions you make on a daily basis. Either way, I'm surprised the company isn't circling the drain already. No wonder you hiring. I said it was good for writing. It was so awkward. Interviewed for position in call center and I was like, well, you should buy this pen, cause it's blue and that is very nice color. Also you can see from shape, that you can write very fast with it. Then I realized how stupid those sentences sound and my mind went blank. Interviewer waited like at least half a minute. If I somehow continued talking, which was never-ending nerve-wracking moment, then he cut it. I got the job and then was fired week after, because I just couldn't sell people shit they didn't need or want. Fuck this pen. Let's put aside buying the pen. I will work for you for the first 6 months for free. Just sign here. Smooth. They gave you their only pen. They want it now. Proceed to deep throat the pen before cleaning your ear with it. Offer to clean the interviewer's ear. Act annoyed when he/she refuses. Sulk a little. Accept the job will not be yours. I used to work the tech side of sales. My job was to demonstrate the software, consult, help with sizing and installation, stuff like that. I never got the question in a real interview, but in one of our training sessions. Leader, sell me this pen. Me, okay, this is a nice pen and it is pretty good for the job. Let's use it to design a system. Make some drawings and purposely spell something wrong everywhere. Looks good, let's build it. Oh crap, we need to fix the spelling of this word, it is everywhere. If you use this pen, you have to start over, but if you had used our product, you would fix it once and move on. I know you wanted me to sell you a pen, but I'm here for the long haul. I'm not going to give you something you don't need, even if it will get me a big commission check. That isn't how I do business. My teammates laughed, my boss laughed, my client exec took me out for drinks. The trainer was pissed. If someone asked me that in a job interview, I'd get up and walk out on the motherfucking spot. If you watched that movie and came away with the conclusions that Jordan Belfort is an awesome salesman, then I definitely do not want you as a boss. I said, get your own pen. I saw Wolf of Wall Street too. Job please. Or I'm going to need you to sell me on the rest of this interview. A very attractive candidate actually once seductively tried to do the whole sexy pen sale thing. She was promptly told to leave the interview as it was not appropriate. Kudos to the hiring HR rep actually. I thought the interviewer was joking because I was a teenager applying for position at a fast food restaurant. So I, jokingly, hammed it up like a cheesy commercial, but the interviewer never laughed or smiled, and that's when I realized they were serious. Long story short, it was one of the most awkward interviews I've done, but I got the job anyway. I asked if they had another pen, they said no. I pointed out the papers in front of them that they'd be diligently writing and signing on, and that without a pen their job just became impossible. I then offered to sell them my pen instead. It had more ink and a rubber grip. It was customer service and sales for a telecom, and my bonus checks from sales were chunky. Oh, I just looked at it, tried writing with it, clicked it a few times, bounced it on the button and then tossed it at the trash bin. You don't want that pen. Pulled out my own. You want this pen? And I laid it on the table. When they reached for it, I snatched it away and did all the things again, but showed that it didn't make any grinding noises, wrote fluently with no force at all, bounced beautifully on its much shorter button when retracted. Then I let them write with it. I'm a hardware technologist at my base, I know machines and manufacture practices. He asked where to get the pen. I have been in sales for about 30 years. Never been asked that question, but if they did, I would get up and walk out. I don't like gimmicks. Anyone asking that kind of question during a job interview doesn't sound like a job I would want. It's amateurish. I ripped off Wolf of Wall Street and told them to write their name. They said, I don't have a pen. I said, sold. Supply and demand. Then walked out, because you got me fucked up if you think I'm doing commission only with a sales pitch of a pen being the only requirement to get the job. Sir or ma'am, I've never thought that small. How can me or you make money if my ambition was limited to a one-time sale of a $2 pen? My sales model is to establish a relationship, understand your needs and sell you a goddamn building. I read "Smell me this pen" and was very confused reading the comments. I was asked this question during a group interview for a front desk job at my university's rec center. I asked them if there was any type of sales work in the job description and they said no. So I just got up and walked away. Not gonna deal with that BS. Reply with, are you looking to buy a pen? The first step of any sale is identifying what the customer is looking for specifically and guiding them through to a purchase. You never force a purchase, you help identify what the customer is looking for, what they need and how you can help them. In this pen is a USB drive with the footage of what you were doing with that frog. 49.99 and it's yours. All the other guys ask 50. Do you know what this fucking pen comes with? What is it? It's come with free motherfucking shipping. You don't want this pen, it's a bit out of your price range if I'm honest. This number 2 pencil is a little more your budget. I'd question why my skills in sales are being checked when there's no way the job I applied for is sales XD. This is a sales position question and a good indicator you are going to do a lot of freaking selling in the job. If that was not clear to you, and you do not like sales, it's time to bow out and not waste any of your time further in that INTE view. My answer when I hear that question is, I am an engineer, not sales. I design to fill a need, not fluff something up and convince someone to buy something they already have. Call me if you want a product created, a solution to a technical problem found, or a design verified. I have this pen. But I also have you family. Buy the pen and you also buy their freedoms. I would never sell you something you don't need, only help you find what you're looking for, and if you want to write that down, I'll sell you this pen for $5. Not a pen but. I was in a group interview for my first job in high school. The interviewer looks at me and gestures to a large fake potted plant decoration next to where we were sitting and said, "Sell this to me." I was caught off guard and froze, so we all sat there in silence for a few seconds until I finally just blurted out the first thing that came to mind. "Wanna buy a plant? I've been with the company going on 5 years now." "Hey, I just placed orders for 2,000 of these pens with Elon Musk. They're unique, and Elon wanted to ensure that he had exclusivity. He gave me this pen as a gift and a thank you. I don't really want to sell it, but you seem like a decent chap, so I'll let you have it. They cost Elon $25,000 each, but I really need a $20, so here's a penny, and if you have a $20 bill it's yours for $19.99. I got the job.